Yeah, definitely envious looking on point today. Especially Tailspin. He's been doing a great job of just shutting down other Pharahs. And as we saw there on King's Row, it forced One Shot to just completely abandon that. And they went for the 76, went for the counter, but it did not work out for them. We will see how things pan out here on Dorado. Once again, it's going to be One Shot starting off on the offensive side.
And Dorado, again, is a full payload map. It's a little bit different than King's Row. You can actually see the starting payload all the way up at the attacker's spawn. This time around, we are going to have... Oh, they're going to keep their same colors, actually. EnvyUs is going to stay blue for us. One Shot going to stay red, just to make it a slightly less confusing. Thanks for that. So full payload essentially just means that there are three... stages of this map. Essentially, the first section goes through just a little bit of a plaza, a marketplace to reach that first checkpoint. The second section is essentially called Church. It just goes around a big church to the opening of this factory sort of area. And then the last section, basically you push all the way home to deliver what I believe is an EMP device sitting on this truck that is meant to wipe out Omnics.
Now, taking a look at the defense, they are opting out of that Reinhardt. We do see Internet Hulk is going to be playing that Winston. So I imagine they want to play a little bit more aggressively. We do have Coco on that Zarya also. So when that Winston does jump in, he gets that barrier. He gets to stay alive much longer. Right now on the side of the offense, though, we have Chronic playing that Reinhardt. Dot on the 76. Psycho Waffle is, of course, going to be playing that Mercy. Rolf on Lucio. Xe switching on over to Zarya, and then Ultima Wep on that Pharah. So he might actually fancy his chances against Tailspin here, but we'll see how that pans out for them.
Yeah, the door is open now. They'll have 4 minutes to try and take this first checkpoint. Essentially what you'll see from EnvyUs is them backing off just a little bit. Actually, I'm lying. Taimu, right up in the face of everybody, does get a kill on Lucio immediately, and that's going to set One Shot back at least 20, 30 seconds waiting for their healers to get back into play. Tailspin also getting the kill onto Chronic. Reinhardt is a big deal for the offense. Losing him is going to be terrible. Dot also going down. Envy just flexing right now on One Shot.
Yeah, generally we see on the defense here on Dorado teams playing up on the upper ledges, playing that high ground, but instead right now Envy is just being full on aggressive right now.
Right now, Xe leaping over the wall as Winston trying to find a target. Internet Hulk leaps right back at him though and forces him back down. The payload is starting to move again just a little bit. Coco, Harry Hook staying in the road here while Chips and Tailspin stay in the air above. Air control and ground control are both very important in this game. You can see the res actually going up on both sides simultaneously, continuing this fight. Coco literally just bouncing in and out to the payload to continue to contest it as Xe falls though. Envy still looking at a good 6v4 situation now as Dot falls as well. Envy really not letting this payload move even to that first choke point. The first choke point typically is the underpass that One Shot hasn't even reached yet.
And yeah, right there, it looks like EnvyUs are just completely comfortable holding the payload here. Tailspin didn't need to use his barrage, but I think he just wanted some of the style points, start padding those stats. And they look completely comfortable playing so far up here on the first section of Dorado.
And right now, basically just a standstill. Nothing coming out of the side of One Shot. I would actually suggest maybe some kind of cheese comp, honestly, mass tanks and healers, just to be able to break this choke. Something with sustain. Harry Hook dropping the sound barrier for EnvyUs, and Taimu going off with the Death Blossom, getting 3 kills. It's just looking pretty easy for them right now. There's no real... there's no skill shot champions, I'd say, or any heroes that are actually just mind-blowing with their efficiency. It literally is just a lot of damage coming from the same direction. They're burst firing down their targets very quickly. Tailspin and Taimu have 2 characters that deal a lot of damage in an area, so they are cleaning up there. Graviton Surge coming out for EnvyUs again. Even if they get 1 pick, 2 picks, it's enough. And Ultimate Weapon Chronic both going down, but here comes the res. This could be One Shot's best chance that they've had yet, as Chips and Internet Hulk are both down now for EnvyUs for the first time.
Yeah, there we go. That's the first sigh of relief that One Shot can breathe as they are finally able to push it into this choke point here. And we should see EnvyUs moving in for this defensive. They do have one more opportunity to try and stop this payload from pushing into the first checkpoint.
And and Tailspin and Chips still just combining for that Pharaoh Mercy combo, able to push out a lot of damage. Dot actually onto McCree now, rather than that Reaper we saw earlier. Xe actually on the Reaper getting a couple of kills there, with Chips going down on the side of EnvyUs. That has been the way that One Shot has been opening the door previously, so they need to just continue to capitalize on this. The fact that their star healer is down. There's Barrage coming from Ultimate, who is actually a notoriously good Genji player, but it is going to take the role of Pharah for this offense. It looks like this is actually, they found the switches that they needed. McCree, Reaper, and Pharah combining for some more firepower is actually all they needed. Dot actually switches off of McCree now onto Widowmaker as we continue into the second section, usually referred to as the church section.
Yeah, that was very difficult for One Shot starting off, but they were able to find their openings, found those picks, and were finally able to push the payload up. Now they will have 3 minutes to push it into the next checkpoint. Right now, though, we do see that, oh, Dot finding the first crucial pick onto Taimu. That's going to stagger this defense, and now it looks like One Shot should be able to push up. And we do see the teams actually engaging right now. That Widowmaker is going to be the first one to go down. That's Internet Hulk dropping on top of Dot. And now in this 5v6 situation, Psycho Waffle does have that resurrection ultimate weapon dropping. He doesn't want to quite res yet because of the staggered spawns. And now they are getting pushed back. And it looks like EnvyUs are going to be able to take position over here close to their spawn.
Wow, Envy actually smelled blood, I think, after getting 1 or 2 picks. They really just rolled over them like a tide, trying to force them all the way back, and they did successfully force One Shot all the way back into their spawn. You can see them exiting now as a team. Chronic still on Winston as the team's only tank right now. 3 DPS, 2 support, and just Winston to try and absorb all that damage. He's already up in the front line with no healers nearby. It's kind of risky as their only tank. He actually jumps right into the face of Harry Hook and Internet Hulk, but that's because Xe was setting up for the Death Blossom, does get a kill on Coco. Taimu and Harry Hook still alive, though. Rulf almost goes down before popping his sound barrier. Here comes a defensive res coming back in for Envy, so they are full force. You can hear the barrage go off, but it looks like Tailspin got taken out very early during that barrage. Internet Hulk using his Rage ultimate, his Primal Rage, knocking everyone away from the cart. One Shot still has several members standing, but they need to get these kills. Internet Hulk has been alive for like 10 years on the payload. Finally, he leaps away as his last supporters, Harry Hook and Coco, go down. Internet Hulk also going to fall. One Shot breaking through once again, has a lot of time here to try and reach this checkpoint, but it does seem that EnvyUs is going to be able to get back in time to contest, and this should be a big battle coming up.
Yeah, Dot doing an amazing job on that. Widowmaker was able to find that right flank. Ooh, Chronic jumping in, gets picked off by Harry Hook, and now Taimo finds the kill onto Ultimate Weapon. Now Psycho Waffle doesn't have that resurrection. A minute left on the clock, so it looks like One Shot will have one more opportunity to try to push this payload in. It's so close. It's just a few meters away.
Unfortunately for them, Ultima Web, Xe and Dot both dying right now is actually terrible for them. They need to regroup, and that's just bleeding time off the clock. What could have been 2 attempts, basically the 45-second mark and overtime, now is going to actually just be 1 solid attempt. They only have Chronic's ultimate available. That is a valuable one, of course, as it allows Winston to go up to 1,000 HP and knock people off of that payload. If he can knock everyone off the payload consistently, that payload's going to get that checkpoint. It's very close, as you stated, but it's starting to roll backwards now, as the offense has not touched it in quite a while. Dot finds the pick on Chips. That's a great way to start off this fight for One Shot as they move forward. Chronic is pushing that payload uncontested, but Taimu down there as McCree is that tank-busting character. There's Deadeye active for Taimu, trying to find the kill on Chronic. Chronic's going to knock him to the wall. Xe with the follow-up, and Tailspin falls as well. The fact that they killed Chips so early definitely helped them secure this checkpoint. Now they are moving into the final phase. They've got about 2 minutes left in this factory setup to try and basically just go around this one question mark shaped curve to try and finish the map.
Yeah, currently here on Dorado, if there's going to be any MVP, it's going to be Dot, who just switches off to Roadhog. Of course, you know, the line of sight, not the greatest for Widowmaker here, but he was doing such a fantastic job. Finding that pick on to Chipsogen so early on in that last engagement was fantastic. Now we do see they are trying to go ahead and gain high ground control. We do have the Death Blossom coming out. Xe finds the first kill onto Taimu, but he gets immediately traded away for Coco. Now the defensive res does come out, so they are going to go ahead and re-engage onto the offense. No one's pushing the payload quite yet. They're just trying to find any kills, and they're going to get pushed off.
They did push it quite a way. Like, it's actually almost in the last bend. This is a situation where One Shot, if they can just stop dying one at a time like this, if they can get that cohesive push, you can see several members of One Shot are on fire. XC, Chronic, and Psycho Waffle have been doing a great job setting up those Death Blossoms, but right now, they don't really have much available. They've got one Sound Barrier, Ultima Web. I mentioned his Genji play earlier, just now switching off of Pharah onto Genji, so I definitely would spectate him just for a short time at least, see what he's able to get done. They only have 52 seconds left, so this is going to be Ultima's time to shine, stay alive as Genji as long as he can, find those soft targets. If he goes down, I'm worried about One Shot's chances here.
Yeah, Tailspin finding the first kill onto Xe as the offense do push in right now, but it's going to be EnvyUs dropping down onto them. In the bottom, though, Ultima Weapon and Chronic will be able to find that kill onto Coco. In the back, Chipsogen just about to get his resurrect. But right now, it looks like the offense has just been pushed back.
So Genji is staying alive. No one's touching that cart, though. Unfortunately, the rest of his team did fall kind of one at a time, as we were worried about. 16 seconds left is going to give them another opportunity, but look at all the ultimates lined up on the side of the defense. They have 2 support ultimates. That's going to give them the Sound Barrier and the res. Offense only has a res. And, oh, they've got Sound Barrier as well, actually. This is going to be a huge engagement.
Yeah, so we have 2 seconds left. It's about to go into overtime as we do have the first break it down going out. It's going to be both the offense and the defense, actually. Tailspin finding that kill onto Psycho Waffle, and oh no, it looks like the offense is just going to crumble here, and it's going to be EnvyUs to be able to hold it out here. Rolf trying to keep the payload alive, but no, he gets cleaned up, and that's going to be EnvyUs holding it down. And they're, it's unfortunate One Shot not being able to complete out a map against EnvyUs right now.
Yeah, they came very close, actually surprisingly close. So again, give One Shot some props because it could have been much worse for them. They nearly got stopped at that very first checkpoint, were able to push it as time ticked down to 0. The church phase, again, they had only 2 minutes to get through there, and they managed to do it against Envy. I wanted to say Envy is actually looking a little bit out of sorts, but honestly, it was mostly on Dot's shoulders with the Widowmaker snipes onto Chips. Killing Chips first allowed them basically every bit of progress that they got during that game. I want to say Coco and Harry Hook both played Soldier during different phases of that defense, and Coco at the end actually scooping a lot of the kills for Envy, managed to shut them down there in the final phase. But now we are going to be switching sides again. Colors will remain the same. One Shot will be red on defense, EnvyUs will be blue on offense, and now we're going to get to see the defensive choices here from One Shot do include a Symmetra. So we talked about on King's Row, sometimes you see triple support. This is going to be the case here. As Symmetra, the strategy essentially is just stay alive until you get your ultimate, run away, place that teleporter, and then just go crazy. You can void ray people down. I mean, you can continue playing like a wuss and lobbing orbs if you want to. I typically just go full on from that point because I know that I've got that backup teleporter. I can just get right back into the fight.
Yeah, so it's not actually going to be the triple support coming out on the side of One Shot. They're playing this a lot differently than EnvyUs did on their defensive side. Like you said, Rolf is going to be on that Symmetra. So if they can keep her alive and they can stall out long enough, you know, getting that teleporter up will be a huge boon to the defense. Right now, we do see Xe's going to be playing that 76. Dot on the Roadhog. Chronic, of course, playing Reinhardt and Ultima Web. He's going to be playing Junkrat here, and Junkrat does an amazing job, especially over at the choke point here on Dorado.
The payload,
you see the attack.
Yeah, already starting to move now as the doors are open. Complete opposite of what we saw with One Shot's offense, where Envy essentially just locked them into their spawn for the first minute and a half. This is actually typically what you see. EnvyUs just slowly moving the payload forward to this first choke point. This underpass is typically where defenses will set up, where One Shot is right now, because there's really only 2 entrances into this area. You've got the road where the payload itself is moving. You've got the staircase to the right where Dot is guarding as Roadhog, and then there's a flanking area way in the back where they've already placed 2 Symmetra turrets, almost like a defense grid warning of any incoming attackers from that side. So Taimu actually going to get hooked in, but survives the hook combo, actually gets the kill on Roadhog instead. That's actually a really big pickup. They're going to have to use their res already. Tailspin dropping Barrage, gets 2 kills onto Chronic and Xe after the res is finished. Psycho Waffle and Xe falling again. Roof also falling before being able to place his teleporter. That spells defeat, basically, for this first point, for sure. I think they're going to be able to contest it, but without that teleporter, they essentially wasted that Symmetra pick, and Envy is going to casually stroll up to this first checkpoint now.
Yeah, it was so close. He was sitting on about 98, 99% ult charge before he finally switched off, and unfortunately wasn't able to get the TP down. EnvyUs are going to be able to get it into the first checkpoint, and now they are already contesting for the tie ground.
Yeah, the defense typically is going to set up on this ledge, the second story of the church. You can already see Chronic up there with his shield, most of his teammates standing behind him. The idea here is that it is a little bit harder to get the damage up there. You can see Coco on the offense actually lobbing Zarya bombs up there, just hoping to hit something. She's going to be unable to do any damage to them, really, unless she gets lucky. So the high ground defense makes sense until the payload reaches about the spot it is now. This is typically where One Shot is going to be jumping down to try to engage. They don't have a lot of ultimates on their side. Dot is sniping, so they may be a little more hesitant on engaging. It looks like Envy actually going to leap up to them instead, and they're already deep into One Shot territory. Internet Hulk and Taimu both caught by the Earth Shatter of Chronic, and both going to go down. That payload still moving, though, all the way to this next underpass.
Yeah, that was a great speed boost engage on the side of EnvyUs. And of course, they found that first pick onto Dot with the Winston. Now we do see the Graviton Surge coming out, and that's going to be Taimu coming up with a 4-man Death Blossom. And that looks like it's going to be EnvyUs. We'll be able to push it into the second checkpoint here on Dorado.
Yeah, and they've got much more time available than One Shot did at this same position. One Shot not going to be able to contest here. EnvyUs already has 3 members into the base of One Shot, and Tailspin already getting a kill on Dot, as McCree is going to help them immensely. Ultima Web actually just now coming out of spawn as Farah trying to duel against Tailspin. Do see some rockets flying back and forth. Farah never wants to fight another Farah that has a Mercy tail. That's basically just a losing proposition. Finally, Psycho Waffle does show up to give Ultima Web that support, but this payload just going to continue to move through the garage door. This is the final section of Dorado. They really only have to beat that distance marked by One Shot, though.
Yeah, with nearly 6 minutes on the clock, this is going to be a very difficult hold for One Shot right now. We do see it looks like Coco does want to try and push through right now. They're going to go ahead and speed boost right onto the mid. Taimu finds that first kill onto Dot. Internet Hulk finds one onto Exy. Ultima Web, though, is able to pick up 2 kills. Reses do come out. Chipsogen getting that defensive res off. Fortunately, Earth Shatter does come out, but it doesn't really connect right now. The offense pushing it to the defense, and it looks like they're going to be able to push it in, and that's going to be EnvyUs taking it 2-0 over One Shot for our first match of the day.
That final area there, that's the point in solo queue competitive where I'm just screaming at people, contest, contest, like we will literally lose the game if you don't contest. But they were of course being forced back by all the ultimates and the actual body blocking of the Envy tanks. So EnvyUs will secure that 2-0 victory. Here you can see the Mercy res from Chips is going to be play of the game, followed by some nice damage amps, some nice healing. Those Mercy play of the games usually go pretty much the same. If you see her get a kill at all, it gets very exciting. But yeah. Envy just basically doing as expected here, 2-0. I want to give props again to One Shot, though, taking more checkpoints than I would have given them credit for probably going into the series.
No, there were definitely plenty of like windows of opportunities for One Shot there, and they did a great job on their offense, considering, you know, they're facing off against the best team in the world right now. And of course, that's EnvyUs moving on to the winners bracket. One Shot not out of it yet. They will be dropping down to the losers bracket, who we will see they will be facing off later today. Next up, though, it will be the loser of Northern Gaming and Team Liquid. So we're going to be waiting on the results of that.
Well, we're going to cast it, actually.
Oh, yeah, we're going to cast it, actually, yeah.
So you're waiting for the results. We're going to cast it for you. But that is going to be our next match, I believe. So we are going to go ahead and take a short break for now while we get Northern Gaming Red and Team Liquid ready for their best of 3 match. Don't go anywhere, folks.